Welcome to the United States of Paranormal Podcast. Sit down and buckle up for an enlightening ride through everything cryptid, creepy, and paranormal.
Hello, all my paranormal freaks out there. It is I, Golden J, and I am with, as always, Alicia.
Hello.
I wanted to say something about the hungover Alicia because she might have partied a little too hard last night, and so I'm going to carry her through this.
I'm a little rough today.
No, you're doing quite well.
My brain feels like it's going to fall out.
When you texted me earlier, I was like, this might be a rough one, but you look like you're well put together today.
Something. That's... Gosh. It's my 5-year anniversary, my husband, so I was like, let's drink. And...
Congratulations, 5 years.
Thanks.
Happy anniversary to you and Roy. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. We're together 10 years this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And here's to many more. Hopefully, before
he doesn't
you
get
know
sick
it.
of me.
Well, I keep waiting for Bobby to say she's done with me, but we keep trucking along.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's a trooper. She puts up with your bullshit.
She does put up with my bullshit, all of it. She might be tired of hearing me talking about podcasting all the time now. So I probably ought to just hold back a little bit. But she's
Bless
good.
her heart.
She's so good to me. So, well, how was your week? Everything good?
Yeah. Got a lot of stuff done. Working, man, let me say, and you know this because you're doing 2 podcasts too. Doing multiple podcasts is a trip. Like, it's so much work. Doing 1 is a lot of work, but then when you've got 2, it's like...
Well, don't forget, I'm a 3-time podcast
3?
veteran.
Oh, yeah, Murd Nerds.
Yeah.
Murd Nerds, Golden Image, and Tusop.
Tusop, yep.
Good gravy, Jeremy.
I love to hear myself on the radio. It's just pretty awesome.
It's well deserved. You're just too great.
It's been really interesting for me. I have been watching the numbers, and I have been, really kind of paying attention. And Tusop is just off the charts.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody who's listening. I want to thank our Tejas crew down there. Yes. They are killing it. Their numbers are amazing, and their people listening are outstanding.
Their energy, I was talking to Skylar about this the other day. Their energy is so good together.
It is.
I love listening to the 3 of them just give each other a rash of shit.
Oh, my. And, actually, giving Logan that rash of shit is so much fun. I've been doing it for years, and those guys have been doing it for years. That's why they're so good at it. But, it's listen to them together and doing what they're doing is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it. I'd listen to it. I'm excited because I don't hear their episodes before they air because I just kind of let them do their thing. I mean, those guys are audio producers down there, and I trust everything that they're bringing out. So I don't listen to them until they post.
Really?
So I listen to them every Wednesday morning when Tusop comes out, and just enjoy every bit of it and laugh my ass off at
it's so fun.
The stupid shit that they keep doing. Yeah. And, we feel bad for Boze and crying in a Spectrum band.
I do.
So,
We do.
give a little poke there when we can. Well, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I have talked to many people, and we are getting on the Boosier side. We've gotten a couple of nice little rave reviews. Woo-hoo. Shout out to Jenny Baker for being an avid listener. She is a big Murd Nerds fan. She's listened to almost all of them.
That's awesome.
I think she's a couple short yet, but she did listen to the paranormal one the other day. She got to ours. She made her way to the Galvez episode.
Nice.
And she was very excited about it. And,
good things to say, huh?
And it was really cool because the people in her office, she starts telling all about it. And I'm like, oh, I wish I had a business card to hand out to everybody so we can, get everybody to those Linktrees. And we're working on that. We're going to have business cards real soon with all that information on it. But shout out to Jenny. Thank you for being an avid supporter.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny.
So today, my case, it's not a case. We're not a Murd Nerds.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, guys. My what do I want?
Research topic.
My research topic has taken me to a place that has always really intrigued me, and I'm not a big avid, paranormal chaser. I like to watch all the shows and shit on TV, but this place always intrigued me. I think for two reasons: for the amount of hauntings that are in this place, and the fact that it's actually relatively close to us here in Northern Indiana.
Yeah, so close.
Yeah. I mean, in like 4 hours, we could be there. I mean, that's relatively close.
Let's go.
In general. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Because I have some information at the end that I want to share with you, and I just want to see what you think of this information.
Okay.
But I'm going to take you down to Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which is supposed to be one of the most haunted hospitals in the United States. Boom. Are you ready?
Yeah, hospitals are creepy anyway.
Well, I work in a hospital.
Yeah.
And me personally, I've never seen anything in there, but I've seen pictures.
From your hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty. Well, we had an. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic here, but we had an outbuilding that they turned into offices, but it used to be like a drug rehab center.
Okay.
Okay. And before that, it was it was like an old folks home type thing. But they've had at that time, they've had deaths in there, and I've heard stories of this old building. We actually shot the video for Crankshaft Glory's. Which one was it? Intent? No, it wasn't Intent. It was Ledge. The song Ledge. We actually shot the video for that in that building.
Oh my god!
In the back stairwell, because I love this back stairwell, so we shot that video there. But yeah, there are people who have seen things in this building, and we had a delivery person that would not enter the building because she was hypersensitive.
Oh my god!
Yeah, she wouldn't go in there. So when we cleaned it out, I was stuck with the last of the records that would needed to be taken care of properly. And I was in that building all by myself. So you'd be sitting there, I'd be on the basement floor working, and the elevator would just open.
Shut the fuck up.
And I'd be like, yo, I ain't got time for your shit right now. Just go back upstairs.
Well, that's what you got to do. You got to just tell them to leave. Like, I don't want to deal with you right now.
I don't want to deal with you right now. But, in all honesty, the debunk of that is I'm pretty sure that those elevators are set to open, like every so often to kind of keep everything kind of rolling. They'll go up and down. Yeah,
likely excuse.
I'm going to go with that, but I've been told that is part of the mechanics of it. Every once in a while, they just won't set. They will move and go back down, and then they'll
keep
open
it all greased up, all the wires and...
But when I'm in the hospital and I round the corner and the door opens up and there's nobody getting off of it, it just opens up. I'm like, hey, thanks. Can I get on the elevator? Anyways, so we're going to go to Waverly Hills Sanatorium today and have some fun with this. But I want to give you some brief background of the place and the property before we get into some of these stories. And I do want to go floor to floor, because there really is so much on each floor. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I want to do that. So just to start off, my sources are the real WaverlyHills.com, Wikipedia, as always, Kindred Spirits on Discovery Plus and YouTube.
Okay.
BuzzFeed Unsolved Network.
Okay.
Sam and Colby, they're on YouTube. Mm-hmm. They did an investigation. AmericanHauntingInc.com and CourierJournal.com.
Got a lot of sources.
There was a lot of information. Oh my God.
It's a lot of sources.
Well, as we go through the floors, I'll talk about this a little bit more because, you watch these guys do this investigation and they briefly talk about what's going on, but there's not really a background. So I had to get in and I wanted to have some background to what this is.
Yeah.
So let me start with some brief overview of the history of Waverly, okay? In 1883, the Hayes family, specifically Thomas Hayes, bought the property for his family. Okay. He realized that it was so far away from the schools that he built a little schoolhouse on the property for his kids. Okay. He hired Lizzie Lee Harris as the teacher for his children in this schoolhouse. She was a big fan of Walter Scott's Waverly novels, so she named it the Waverly School.
Wow.
And then Hayes and the family liked it so much they just called it Waverly Hills. So the whole property was called Waverly Hills.
Okay.
Right? And so they start up with this little 2-room schoolhouse that they just built for just the kids to learn. As time progressed, then in the 1900s, that severe outbreak of tuberculosis happened. And that is pretty much why Waverly Hills is what it is today. So TB, or, the White Death, was really, really bad down there by Louisville, because the Ohio River runs through there. So there were so much wetlands and all that stuff in that area that it just kind of held it right there.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why it was so severe right there, because all the wetlands from the river, from the
Which
Ohio
makes
River.
sense, because TB, it gets in water droplets, right? It can be spread through water droplets.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that wild? It's crazy to think that just because of the wetlands, that's why it just kind of hovered there and just kind of took in. So to help contain this outbreak, they decided to build onto the schoolhouse and turn it into what they call the 2-story wooden sanatorium, which at that time only housed about 50 patients. But the outbreak was so bad, they decided to go and build the 2 bat wings on it.
Okay.
And they did it in record time.
Really?
They built this thing as fast as they could because the outbreak was so bad. So originally, my understanding was it only was good for about 500 patients.
That's a lot of people.
They had over 2,000 in this building at one time.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Isn't that wild? The look on your face right now.
Well, I feel like I remember seeing pictures, and they had people beds right next to each other, in hallways and stuff.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you about that here in just a second. Let me finish up here.
Yeah.
They opened the 2 air pavilions in 1926.
What are the air pavilions? What are those?
I wondered if you were going to ask that. What the air pavilion is they thought the best treatment for TB was fresh air and sunlight.
Okay.
Because back then they had no antibiotics for any of this. They're just trying to treat it as naturally as they possibly could. So the open air was the 5th floor. Okay. So there was no windows in this 5th floor. They just had the rooms, and then they would wheel the beds out onto the little terrace area out there. So the sunlight and the fresh air all the patients would get as much on that. That's why you've seen that picture of all those beds lined up there, because they would just wheel them out and they'd wheel them around from the side. However, if there was on the back side, because at Waverly, the winds and the sunshine would only come from a certain direction. If they took them to the other side of the 5th floor, that was the terminal area. So there's always that speculation of, if you're sitting there and you're like, well, at least I'm on this side today. But if they wheeled you to the other side, you pretty much knew that you were done.
Oh, no.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Let me tell you about some of the treatments.
This is going to be horrific.
This is horrific. So they have no antibiotics. They don't know what to do. So now we have to get into some experimental procedures. So, are you ready?
No, I'm not.
This is terrible. They would open up the chest cavity. They would one idea was they remove the ribs and deflated, not all the ribs, but 6 to 8 ribs.
Oh, not all of them.
Not all of them.
Most of
just
them.
most of them. And deflate, hoping that deflate the lungs, sorry, that it would help rebuild and whatever. But they also tried expanding the lungs, so they would put balloons in there and expand them out to try to help them, get more oxygen into all that. They also did. They removed the muscles and stuff like that to help the lungs breathe a little bit better. Because TB it gets into your lungs and it just kind of
sits in
there and it sucks it up and it doesn't allow your lungs to expand to breathe. So they're doing all this weird stuff. One of the worst treatments that they did was they would crack you open and leave it exposed and then put ultraviolet lights on it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
Like getting a sunburn on the inside.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Just trying to burn it out. Yeah, they say that anywhere between 8,000 and some say 50,000 people died.
Whoa.
In that hospital, in that sanatorium.
Why are the numbers so?
The numbers are so skewed because they don't have any actual physical records of how many people. Because the problem was people were dying so quickly that they couldn't really keep up with it. So you know what they did?
Did they do like mass graves or burnings?
No. They built what they called the body chute.
Oh my God.
Because so many people were dying so quickly. Now, it does different things. There's different ideas on how many, the numbers are way skewed. There's one guy that said there was only 150, which I find that way too low. Yeah, I find that way too low. But that's just one thing that I read was like, no, this doctor said there's only 150. And these people say there's 50,000. So you pick a number out of thin air and we'll go with that one. Let's go 30,000. Today on Tucson, we're going 30,000. So they build this body chute because people were dying so quickly. They didn't want the other patients to see how many people were dying. So they built this body chute on the bottom and it goes out the side of the hill into a waiting hearse where they would take it to the trains and they would take them off to be disposed of.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like a factory. It's like
very, very similar. Very similar. But they say that there's all kinds of stuff. I didn't get really too much into the body chute. There wasn't a ton of information, but we will just touch on that a little bit later.
So what's the reason to not, they didn't want the other patients to panic and
exactly.
revolt or freak out
That
or something?
is exactly what they wanted. They didn't want anybody seeing all these dead people and then just be totally freaked out. Try to keep some sort of...
They'd have to know, right?
I would think that hey, Bob, how's it going? What the fuck happened to Bob?
Right?
Where is Bob? Bob was just here. No, Bob's down in the body chute.
Yeah. No, they left him out in the sunshine for a little too long.
He got a sunburn. Oh. Yeah, so the TB thing at this time in the 1900s was just, insane. In that, I don't know. 1930, TB was on the decline. And in 1943, a new medicine had become available.
Cool.
Which what we know is probably just an antibiotic at this point. And in 1961, Waverly closed. But it was reopened in 62 as a what is that? What's the word? I'm horrible. It's an old folks. What is it? Geriatric. Thank
facility.
you. A geriatric sanatorium. And the stories of the patients grow from there. The mistreatment of the older folks in there. In 1982, the state actually closed the facility for good.
Good.
So it's no longer a geriatric. Boy, that is a big word for Jeremy.
It starts with the same sound as Jeremy. Jeremy.
Jeremy-atric. Jeremy-atrics. Yeah. Of course, it has changed hands several years. I think there was people who were going to kind of refurb it and put it like hotels or whatever into, or
that sounds like a good
now.
idea. Let's take it from a haunted hospital to a haunted hotel.
Why not? I mean, come on.
Oh my God.
You might as well charge per room if you're going to be in there. if you're going to be in there looking around, you might as well give them a room, place to sleep. Or not. Because I don't think I will. Anyway.
Nobody's going to sleep there.
It was bought by Charlie and Tina Matterly in 2001, and they are the current owners. So a lot of these investigations that you see online there's interviews with Tina, who takes the investigators around and shows them all the spaces that they want to investigate in their overnights. So,
do you know how much they bought it for?
No, I do not.
I'm curious.
I didn't see that. I didn't even think about even looking into that.
Because, it's like run down. So would it be like super cheap? Or do you think it'd be like really expensive because it has all this history?
I don't know, because they are doing a shit ton of reno to it.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're working on renoing it. Like they were showing the top floor where pretty much all the original concrete was all busted out. They came in and redone the whole top floor with some new flooring.
You think that's a sound structure?
I don't know.
For being built in, what was it? 18?
It was original. Well, you got to remember when they built the
schoolhouse.
Built the schoolhouse was 1883, right around there, and then in 26 is when the new hospital. 1926 is when the new hospital was built, and it was built quickly.
I'm shocked that's not like protected under historical building laws.
I'm sure that there's some sort of historical site to it, but I don't see why they couldn't, reno it enough to keep it up to date and structurally safe. Because, you know why. We'll talk about it later. I don't want to do that to you, but we're going to talk about it later. I do want to make one important note, a little side thing here before we get any farther. Once you came to Waverly, you were not allowed to leave because they were afraid that you would take the TB back out into the public. They were trying to keep it condensed just to that building. If you worked there, you lived there. So like the nurses and all those people had places out back behind that they stayed in, that they slept in and stuff like that.
Are you going to get to how many medical staff died?
I've never come up with a medical staff number. It really, obviously they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the nurses, and because there's a couple nurse hauntings up there, and we're also going to talk about the children.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You keep hitting these kids.
Kids. Wait a minute. I ain't hitting no children over here.
You keep going to these topics of kids dying and being there's nothing scarier than a child ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Than a child. Yes.
The child ghost is always the worst because they giggle and it's high pitched, and Logan wets his pants every time he hears it. Well, the children, of the families had no other place to go. So they actually had a space for them on the 5th floor at one time for them to stay. Obviously, when it becomes so bad and they had to bring actual patients up there, they moved the children off to another place. But I'm not really even sure where they took them to. Maybe they took them off back. But a lot of those kids weren't sick. Their parents were, and that was pretty much it. And we'll talk about Timmy. Timmy is the most popular ghost, and that was his parents were in there. So we'll talk about him in a little bit.
Oh boy,
it's actually it's a tragic story, but it's kind of sweet because I got a little add on to it that I found last night while I was finishing up my research. So. You okay?
My stomach made it.
Your stomach's over there making noises.
I drank a
now.
whole bottle of mead, and my stomach is like, no, thank you. So it's making all kinds of horrific noises.
We're
setting
keeping
the tone.
We're totally keeping it real at Tucson tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the partnership from Golden Mojo Entertainment, the star of this show, the United States of Paranormal presents Cryptid Crate.
We know now that in the earlier years of the 21st century, this world was being watched closely by intelligence greater than man. Cryptid Crate. Cryptid Crate is a monthly subscription box featuring cryptozoological creatures and paranormal-themed items to wear, read, and collect. Each box contains 4 to 6 items of independent artists, mass-produced items, and even some items only produced for Cryptid Crate. All items in the box are worth more than the cost of the box, such as stickers, books, t-shirts, buttons, custom coins, and more. Cryptid Crate is now offering a junior edition for kids, featuring t-shirts, handmade plushes by Cryptid Comforts, and a few other child-aimed items. If you aren't ready to subscribe, Cryptid Crate offers a mystery sampler box that includes a coupon code for a discount for when you do decide to subscribe. To get 25% off your purchase of a mystery box, use code US Paranormal.
Just remember, if your doorbell rings, it's no Martian. It's just Cryptid Crate.
So in this investigation, I want to go through floors, if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I
I'm
made
ready.
some notes. I'm not reading a script. I'm going to tell you the stories that I remember from all my research. So let's start with the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the morgue. So in the morgue, they have the body refrigerator. You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about? Where I don't think they spent a lot of time. I don't think bodies spent a lot of time in those refrigerators. But during the Sam and Cody YouTube investigation, that's where they kind of started off at. And they were talking about, it wasn't them that did it, but they were talking about, with the people who were giving the tour, of another investigation team that actually had come in there to do an investigation. And the one girl's like, well, I'll crawl in there.
Into one of the body thing? Oh no.
Yeah. So they give her a radio. She gets into the thing. They slide her in there.
Oh fuck no.
And then they leave. They leave the room with just her inside of
One of those
the
little-
refrigerator slab thing. I'm sure there's a specific name for it, and I'm sure I'll get called out on it, but
Cooler box.
let's call it the cooler box. So they leave the room, and they wait a few minutes, and they don't hear anything, so they try radioing her, and there's no answer. Right? So they wait a few more minutes, they radio her, nothing's going right, nothing's coming back. So they go back in there, and they look in, and she has crawled all the way back to the very back of it and is in basically in the fetal position, crying. And when they got her out and they finally were able to talk to her, she said that as soon as they left the room, she started seeing shadow figures running back and forth in front of that little door. And she tried to radio them, but the radio wouldn't go out.
Are you freaking serious?
And she tried to get out. She tried to push herself out because, those things wheel out.
Yeah.
And every time it would go out so far, somebody push it back in.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, and this hits so many. I'm super claustrophobic. I cannot deal with being inside a coffin. The thought of that makes me want to vomit. So knowing that this is in a tight little space, and then she's seeing these fucking figures, and something's holding her back.
Yeah, and not allowing her to come out of there.
And the radio's dead.
And
That's just asking for it.
But I thought that was really interesting that they told that story, and I think that's a great piece of what kind of a place this is. You know
No
what I'm
one
saying?
should do that. What did she think was going to happen?
I'm not sure. I don't understand. I don't understand it, but I'm not an investigator.
Mm-hmm.
These guys put themselves in some really in my mind, some hairy situations.
Oh, for sure.
Just to get that.
She got what she
I think
wanted.
she might have got more than she bargained for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why ghosts are scary.
And that's why Alicia would rather fight a human than a ghost.
Uh-huh. And Logan's the opposite.
He wants to fight a ghost.
He'd rather, he wouldn't.
I thought he would run out like a screaming girl.
He said in the last episode, one of the last episodes, that he would rather, no, I'm getting myself confused. Yes, he would rather fight a ghost.
Well, because he
pretty
thinks
sure.
he's like the worst paranormal is an actual human being.
Yes.
Yeah. The Boy in the Wall, in case you guys missed that, was a great episode.
That was awful.
All right, Alicia, you ready to move on to the
Yeah,
next
let's
floor?
go up to the next floor.
Okay, so we're going to go to floor number 2.
Do they get worse from here?
Maybe.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I shouldn't say that because I found nothing about floor number 2.
Oh.
There was no information. Everything is the quick thing about the morgue on floor number 1, and then 3, 4, and 5. That's pretty much where
They don't even. What's 2, 4?
I don't know.
They don't know?
I have no idea. I'm thinking it was like an admin area and,
okay.
and so on, so
Offices.
so on and so forth. But there was really nothing about floor number 2. So
Like entry, discharge, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
yeah,
Okay.
no, the discharge was in the body chute. Oh, that's terrible, Golden J. You shouldn't say that. Yeah, the look on Alicia's
That was
face
a
right now
low
is priceless. Sorry, ghosts. Didn't mean to.
They're going to come haunt you.
Yeah. So there is talk of a little girl on floor number 3, but I could not find anything on her. I hunted and hunted, and none of the investigators actually really ran across anything. But there have been sightings of a little girl just running around on floor number 3. Of course, there's shadow people. You know about the shadow people.
Don't like them.
And
Not a fan.
they come out of everywhere. And there's also talk of a man in a trench coat with fuzzy hair.
What?
I know. And I'm just going to throw those out there because I don't really have stories about them or anything like that. But this is just some sightings that, that people have talked about. And the tour guides telling the investigators of the ones that I watched, this is what was going on. But I do want to tell you about William and his dog.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so years after, the hospital's closed down, they have a lot of trouble with squatters.
Okay, naturally.
And people breaking in and doing all the bullshit that stupid people do.
Vandalism. Yeah.
Spray painting the walls and stuff like that. Well, they got in there one day and they found a man named William and his dog.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, listen, you can't stay here. And William's like, listen, it's starting to get into the colder months. I really need a place to crash out. Is it okay if I stay here? I will patrol and keep people away.
Okay.
And they were like,
reasonable.
Why not? He's not really doing any damage. Basically, he set up a little room. I had a room number, I thought, but apparently I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. But he had a room that he fixed up, had all his stuff in or whatever. So one day they come over and William's nowhere to be found.
What?
Yeah. He's just gone. And he'd been there like 3 or 4 months. But they went in and they couldn't find him. And they're like, well, maybe he moved on.
Yeah.
That's possible. Maybe he's got, the weather's warmer, it's time to travel. So they didn't really think much of it. Until about 3, 4, 5 days later. And they started smelling something.
Oh, no.
They found William and the pupsters down the elevator shaft.
No fucking way.
Yeah. But somehow they figured out what happened to him. 3 men came in and beat him and threw him down the elevator shaft.
That's awful.
Isn't that terrible?
And his dog.
And his dog. Yeah. Fuck you guys. Don't do anything to the dog.
Yeah.
It's just a dog.
He's innocent in this.
So, obviously they cleaned this up. And I don't know exactly William's age, but this becomes important in a second. So they figured out who the 3 men were. Somehow they got it worked out. But those 3 guys, well, William found his revenge.
How? I need to know.
All 3 of these guys who they speculate had beat up William and pushed him down the elevator shaft apparently had come back to the property. And at different times, this didn't all happen at once. They were all killed on the property.
No shit.
And I'm pretty sure that William got his revenge on the 3 guys that killed him. The cool, interesting, bizarre, weird thing, like I said, I don't have an age, but they said that all these men died at different times in different years. All died at the same age that William was when they killed him.
Oh my God. Way to go, William.
Way to kick some ass, boy.
And his dog, too.
And his dog, too. But William and the dog can be seen on the 3rd floor.
No way.
Yeah, he's still there. He's still hanging out.
Protecting the land.
Protecting the land.
What a badass.
Well, I know, right?
I like William.
He's the one you want to talk to when you go there?
Yeah, I'm fine with William.
We go to the 3rd floor, but find William. Find the pupsters.
Ding, ding, William.
But they say that they see the dog a lot on the 3rd floor.
Really?
Yeah.
Specifically the dog.
Specifically the dog.
Huh.
Isn't that wild?
That's super crazy. Did they, have a reason? Did they, obviously someone murdered them or... But they didn't really get into a lot of detail about how they died. Okay. They just all died back on the property. That's where they found them at. Like one was on the railroad track out back of the sanatorium. Really?
The other one was up around the edge of the building. But yeah.
You think the first guy that went out there, the other 2 would be like, maybe we shouldn't go back out there.
I'm thinking not go. But
yeah. Or they were lured. William lured them.
Oh.
Stealing copper out of the building or something.
Well, there had to be a reason for those 3 guys to be there to begin with. So maybe that was it. I don't know. Maybe the dog did it. Maybe they're like, oh, look at the pretty puppy.
Yeah,
I know
let's
that puppy.
follow the dog. Yeah. Wild.
So I thought that was a really interesting story. And that's not one of those that you really hear a lot about. In all the investigations that I've watched prior to actually doing this research, I'd never heard of William and his dog.
No, I've never heard of that.
But I have heard of Timmy.
Let's hear about Timmy.
Timmy was a 10-year-old boy. Timmy's tale is tragic from the very beginning. So Timmy was one of those kids that lived there because both of his parents had tuberculosis and were upstairs. And eventually both of his parents died.
Oh.
So Timmy was just kind of the foster kid of Waverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Timmy got in a relationship with a nurse. Not a relationship. Relationship's the wrong word. I'm sorry. He made a very tight friendship with one of the nurses. Her name was Mary Huggart. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Timmy had 2 items that were pretty much his. He had a ball, and he had a little music box, a little wind-up music box. And he loved these 2 items. I do believe his mother gave him the music box. So he loved these 2 items. Well, Nurse Mary always kept telling him to be very careful with that music box because it's a wind-up and it's very delicate.
Mm-hmm.
And 10-year-old kids, you know how 10-year-old kids are.
Yeah.
You know that better than anybody.
Yeah, I've got a 10-year-old son.
They are aggressive with it, and he ended up breaking it at some point during all this. So, but he still kept it. It was still, in his possession. One day, Timmy was on the roof because there was a playground. They had built the playground up on the roof for the kids to play at.
That is so sad.
And Timmy fell off the 5th floor to his death.
Oh, no.
Now, there's still speculation. They think maybe he might have been pushed off. They say there was a witness that said they saw one of the men was standing next to him. And they don't know if he was. They don't know for sure if he was actually pushed off or
Like a real man or like a
like a
ghost
real
man?
man, like an inpatient, one of the patients there.
Oh my God! What a fuck!
I know, right?
Who would push a
I
kid?
don't know. Maybe he
Oh,
won. I don't know. Maybe he
Timmy.
won his ball, or I don't know what the reason was. They couldn't really pin it on him, but it was one of those witnesses that saw they saw this man standing next to him or whatever at one point. So, but yeah, Timmy died by falling off the top of the roof of Waverly Hills.
What a sad life.
So in the investigation, you can take a ball onto the third floor and you set it there. Now they say you have to be super, super patient. You can't just, you just don't set the ball down and be like, kick the ball, Timmy.
Right.
Well, come on, you got it. Just kick the ball. You say you have to be really patient, but if you roll it down and you wait, Timmy will roll the ball back to you. So he's still there playing ball with you.
I hate that so much because it's so scary, but it's also really sweet.
So you want some more about Timmy
Yeah, tell me about
and
Timmy.
Nurse Mary?
And Nurse Mary.
So I told you that Timmy and Nurse Mary had a very tight friendship. She would go up actually and play with him on the roof for hours
Oh.
and, play ball and all this different
Kind of
stuff.
like his keeper.
Pretty much. Yeah. I think she fell in love with this little boy.
Yeah.
When he died, she asked administration if she could have that music box.
Oh.
And they said yes. Now remember, this music box, he had broken it. It's all messed up inside. This is now one of her prized possessions.
Mm-hmm.
So she has it on her mantle at home.
Mm-hmm.
Because after everything's kind of closed down, then she actually moves on with life. And this, she doesn't have tuberculosis. So she goes back out into the real world. So she's at her house. She has this music box, which is her prized possession, her reminder of Timmy and all that. So she's got it setting up on her mantle in her living room. And one day she was in the kitchen doing some dishes or whatever, and all of a sudden that music box started playing. So she went in and she opened it up, and by now all the in stuff is gone out of it, and it's just an empty box.
No way.
And she just smiled and she said, "Thank you, Timmy,
Oh.
for reminding me of our friendship and how much I miss you."
That's so sweet.
Isn't that a great story?
Yeah, this isn't even scary.
No, it's not. Sorry, it's not paranormal. But I thought that was
No, the whole story really isn't like of Waverly's not so scary so far. It's
So
just kind
far?
of so far. It's just kind of heartwarming, except for the girl who put herself in the box. Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. That's
Yeah.
not a thing you want to go do.
No.
Okay.
It makes up for it with these sweet stories.
Well, damn! I better stop with the sweet story. No more shadow people. We got rainbow people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you it was rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah, rainbows and unicorns
and
this
happy
week.
fairies this week. So that's pretty much for the third floor. I mean, I think Timmy and the ball is probably one of the really cool things that you could go and do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, if you could go there and play ball with Timmy, why not? I mean, that would be like the cool thing. You're playing with the kid that can't get out.
Exactly.
He's
He's
just kinda
trapped.
stuck, yeah. You ready to move to the fourth floor?
What's the fourth floor?
The fourth floor is the creeper floor.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you want a sweet story.
Yeah, let's go back to the third floor.
Oh, back to Timmy. Timmy was a sweet little boy. Well, the thing is Timmy never got sick. Timmy was never sick at Waverly.
Yeah.
He just fell off the roof.
A casualty to
Yes.
Waverly.
A casualty to a lot of things, losing both his parents and yeah. So on to the fourth floor, Alicia. Here we go. Only 2 more floors to go. But these are where the stories really start to get thick. And I wasn't kidding about the creeper.
Mm-hmm. It sounds bad.
They say that the creeper, it's a shadow creeper. They say that this creeper will crawl out
What?
on the floor, on all fours, and then start to go up the walls.
What the fuck?
And onto
Why?
the ceiling. I don't know. Nobody knows what it is exactly. There's a lot of anger and a lot of hate.
It's
in
just
this
like
building.
manifested into a
Yeah.
creeper.
But the 4th floor is probably one of the most active floors. So that would explain why the creeper's on that particular floor.
Mm-hmm.
There was just so many voices that people catch, so many EVPs that, all these investigators run across on the 4th floor. They say they see doctors in scrubs walking around.
Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm.
Don't want to see that?
I don't want to see that.
But didn't you just ask me at the beginning of this podcast if you wanted to go? Because it's so close.
Yeah, and I'm going to stay on the 3rd floor. I'm going to play with Timmy.
Where's Alicia? She's playing with Timmy. Sam and Cody, in their investigation, heard footsteps in room 402, and one of their EVPs that they caught was, "Get the fuck out." Can you imagine? You play it back and you hear, "Get the fuck out."
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I'm done.
I was
I'm
told.
out of here. Kindred Spirits was one of my sources, which I stated early on. They went back to Waverly or later because of this next story. They didn't feel like they came to a conclusion. They didn't feel like they really fulfilled what they were there to do. And it revolves around a man named John Mitchell.
Okay.
Okay. Like I said, I made bullet points, so I'm trying to keep my story straight. They brought in, do you know the psychic Chip Coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows Chip. So they brought in Chip, and Chip's kind of wandering around doing his thing, and he's ended up talking to an orderly on this floor, the way that only Chip can do it. And he talked about this orderly had actually killed several of his coworkers in this building and stuff like that.
Frick? What is going on? This land is like, just leave. Just leave it alone.
Just
don't
bail.
mess with it.
But the Kindred Spirits people actually focused in really heavily on this John Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
What had happened was John contracted TB. So John was a patient. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of all this, John finds out that his wife, after 3 months of being at Waverly, is having an affair.
Oh, my God.
Okay? The man she's having an affair with, his name was allegedly, I'll leave that at that, Charles Chester Curlington.
Okay.
And Charles was an abusive dude.
Oh.
And apparently one midst of all this, smacked her down. She hit her head and killed her.
Oh, my God.
So John finds out his wife's having an affair and is dead. He's stuck in Waverly because he can't leave because he's got the TB.
Uh-huh.
So his 7 children
Oh, my God.
now are out into foster care, and there's not a damn thing he can do about it. And he's just depressed. He's sick, so on and so forth. Well, John ends up dying.
Oh.
John is not a happy ghost in Waverly.
Naturally.
Yeah. Originally, the ghost that they caught on their EVP session early on was super aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought it was Charlie. They thought it was Charles because of the anger. The EVP was horrible. I mean, it was like, forgive me, listeners, it was, that kind of stuff.
I hated every minute of that. That was horrifying.
That was a no that he said. They were talking to him, and he's like, Chip gets in there and says that this spirit does not like the male investigator. And I can't remember his name. I apologize. He wants to kill him. I mean, Chip's like, he wants to kill you. He wants you dead. But they can't quite figure out why Charles is there because Charles was never a patient.
Yeah.
As the episode goes on and the twists and turns happen, they realize that it's John Mitchell. And he is one angry dude.
Yeah.
And he got to the point where he was manifesting around corners and touching them, and
Ew.
they could see him, and yeah,
Ew.
it was bad. So if you get a chance to go watch any of the investigations, I really highly suggest this Kindred Spirit episode at Waverly Hills. It was really good, and it left a lot on the table for you to listen to as far as their EVPs and stuff like that, because they got a lot of information from there.
Wow.
But that's why they want to go back. They want to go back and try to help him kind of calm down and pass on, because they think that, I mean, he's so angry.
There.
Yeah, he's stuck there. He's angry because his wife had cheated on him. He's angry that she was killed. He's angry that his 7 kids, were shot out into foster care. He's angry that he died of TB in this place and he couldn't do a damn thing to help his children.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I'd be pissed too.
Yeah. He can't let go of the earthly things that happened.
John's room, in case anybody's interested, is 424. And that's where you'll find him.
He's still stuck in his room.
He's still stuck in his room.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So many stories at Waverly. You ready to go to 5? You ready to go to the 5th floor?
Let's go to the 5th floor.
We probably ought to get to the 5th floor because I have a few more things to get to, and we're pushing almost an hour.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So let's go to the 5th floor. The 5th floor was known as the TB of the brain floor. A lot of people thought that it was the mentally insane floor, the people that got TB that were mentally unstable. That's why they took them up to the 5th floor.
Okay.
But it wasn't. It was just that the TB had actually gotten into their brain, so they thought. I don't know how it works, but that's what they thought. So they would put them up there. They're probably because that's where your creeper and all those people come into play, because they were mentally unstable. But it was just known as the brain floor. Of course, people have seen shapes in the windows and heard disturbing voices, and they say that when you're on the 5th floor, you have an urge to jump.
No.
Yeah.
Ew.
Even one of the investigators, I can't remember which one, was standing there. Is like, I just have an urge just to jump off this roof.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's insane.
Imagine like being somewhere where the energy's just so thick that it's like
I wonder
convincing you.
if it feels like a heavy, you know how you have like a hot day when the humidity's so high and it's just the
Yeah,
air
like a
is
wet
so
blanket on
hell.
you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder if that's what it feels like being in there.
Well, and it's like, is it an urge to jump because you want to hurt yourself, or is it an urge to jump to get away?
Oh, nice.
Huh.
I never thought about it that way. I thought it was an urge to
brain.
be an urge because they were like, go ahead,
Yeah.
jump.
Coaxing.
You can do it. Jump.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it. You can do it. Alicia's face right
I
now.
hate it. I hate creepy voices.
But the most famous death at Waverly has to be the nurse of 502.
Okay.
The nurse of 502 is Mary Hillenberg. Once again, allegedly. I don't know that for sure. I heard she was 29 years old. And one day, one of the maintenance guys was coming up, and my understanding was when he got to the 5th floor, she would always be there waiting for him to get off the elevator. She was always expecting him. Well, this day, she wasn't there. He rounded the corner towards her room. Her room was 502, and he found her hanging, that she had hung herself.
Oh no.
A lot of people say that, she was very depressed, and I could see that with all the stuff going on. But allegedly, she was pregnant, and she had gotten pregnant by one of the doctors who was married.
Oh shit.
And, obviously he didn't want anything to do with that, So he just kind of blew her off and blah, blah, blah. So she couldn't handle it, Some say she even thought she had tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And that the amount of anxiety of passing that on to her baby was way too much.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's also another story. There's a story that the doctor performed an abortion on her.
Oh, no.
And it went terribly wrong.
Botched.
And so he strung her up to make it look like a suicide. Some say that there was way too much blood to be on the floor around her for it to be a hanging.
Yeah.
So a lot of people believe that the doctor scenario is...
He murdered her.
Yeah.
Wow.
But she is one of the biggest attractions to Waverly because she is very active. Some say that she has a lot of energy up there and that you can actually see her from time to time, or there's a lot of voices and stuff like that. So it's one of the more famous ghost hauntings of Waverly Hills. It's one of the ones that I hear about the most. And most people, when they go there, that's where they want to go. They want to go up to room 502. So that year was 1926 when that happened, when she hung herself. There's a second nurse that happened later, 1932, where she jumped off and committed suicide off the top of Waverly. But
And
once
what year was that?
That was 1932.
Was this before Timmy?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because what if she pushed Timmy?
And then jumped herself.
No, like as a ghost, she pushed Timmy.
Oh,
And people
could
just
be.
think they saw somebody up there.
That could very well be. I don't know. Let me look into that.
Yeah, I do.
Let's see what year Timmy was there and died.
Because what if that urge is like from her, if it was before her, or if it was, and it was like that.
Well, I mean, if she was depressed and wanted to do that, then I would think that anxiety and that feel would actually still be there, and maybe that is why people feel that way. That's very good. I didn't even put that together.
And maybe Timmy just didn't trip or accidentally fall. He jumped because he had that feeling.
Could be. But some say she was pushed off too. So, I mean.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I take that as however. I mean, I like your explanation a little bit better, but, once again, it's speculation on the parts of nobody knows. Nobody physically saw her jump. Mm-hmm. Nobody physically saw her get pushed. So it's hard to say. But,
yeah, it's just assumed.
Yeah. But.
Wild.
Nurses nobody was sacred up there. I mean, everybody was plummeting to their death or dying of TB or. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So the body shoot, I want to talk about the body shoot real quick because there wasn't a ton on it really. I've heard the stories of the body shoot, people sleeping in the body shoot or staying down there, late at night or whatever. But of course there's they see shadows, they hear footsteps and voices. I mean, this tunnel is really, really long.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's steps on one side of it and the other side's flat where they put the coffins on it, and then they had a winching system that would winch it down. And once again, it's something else. I heard they would go to hearses that were waiting to pick up the coffins. I also heard that there was a train. They would just load them into train cars right there. So,
yeah, I think that's what I've heard before. It was a train.
Yeah, train. You've heard the train before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I did hear a really cool explanation of the body shoot. You want to hear it? So the BuzzFeed group that I was telling you about,
yes.
What was it called again? BuzzFeed Unsolved Network.
Mm-hmm.
They went down into the body shoot, right? And he called it Satan's concrete butthole. I just wanted to throw that in because I thought it was awesome. He's like, this is like Satan's concrete butthole. I'm like, damn, that's nice. So there you go. That's my stories from Waverly Hills.
That's wild.
It's a lot of stuff that goes on there.
And the whole, like you said, the energy there has to be so bad because there's nothing but loss and death and sadness. And then they all have to live there. So you're just surrounded by that constantly. Mm-hmm. You can't leave. You can't do anything. So, like, your mental health has to be just completely out the window.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're not dying, you're watching people die. You're watching the guy in the bed next to you die, or you're as a nurse or a doctor, you're trying to help and there's nothing you can do, and you're eventually doing horrific examinations on these bodies, trying to figure out how to cure this, and pain and suffering, I think, was extremely relevant there at Waverly Hills.
Well, and getting TB has to be like a horrible way to die.
Well,
on top of it, like you're just drowning.
Exactly. I think that I can die any other way. I think drowning would be the worst to go. I just do not want to drown. Mm-hmm. It's just that feeling of helplessness. You're right. You can't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying.
Doing something your body has to do to survive, and then you literally can't.
Yeah. So that's my thing on Waverly Hills. What do you think?
I thought it was great.
Right on.
I thought it was great for sure. It's spooky.
I do want to talk real quick about a dude that we might be doing a interview with coming up here really soon. And the reason I'm bringing in here at this point of our story here, there's a reason I'm putting it right here to make this announcement. Is that one of his first experiences as more of an adult was him taking a trip to Waverly Hills Sanatorium with him and his buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got some stories about what happened to him while he was in Waverly.
Pretty wild stories.
I'm reading his book right now, and that's where I'm getting the information. But Connor Biddle is coming to Team Indiana's story.
Our first guest.
And he'll be in the studio. No, I rephrase that. He will not be in the studio. He will not be in the studio. He will not be in the studio. We will do an interview with him on June 20th.
Yeah, a video interview.
We'll have it out after that. But so I don't know. I'm not sure when this episode particularly is going to happen, when it's going to be released. I'd have to look at my calendar, but
look forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great interview. Mm-hmm. He has done some amazing things. He's also got 2 books out, and he's got a 3rd on the way. So if you get a chance, go to YouTube, look up Paranormal Encounters, and then you can get his books on Amazon, or I do believe Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. That's where Sky bought him.
Right on.
Yeah, but he's got like 10.2 thousand YouTube subscribers, and he's locally.
Yeah, he's
here.
A local boy.
Yeah,
and that's what makes it even better. So, was he in LA right now?
I think he's in Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah.
So we'll be coming to him. He'll be coming to us from way out there. That's why he's not in studio. That's why I said it 3 times, because I messed up. But yeah, we're so looking forward to talking with Connor. But I wanted to put that here because that was one of his big. He was always interested in it, and he did have something happen to him when he was way younger. But Waverly was kind of his tipping point to
get deeper into
it. I mean, he's got some great investigations. If you can go check them out.
I can't wait to hear his stories.
Oh man, I got some questions for him too.
Yeah.
So, you want to go to Waverly?
I'm a big scaredy cat. I don't know if you've known that. I don't know if you picked up on that. I would, just because I think it's so interesting. And, I don't like roller coasters. I don't want to jump out of an airplane. But haunted things, I will freak out the entire time. But it's that, adrenaline rush that people get from going on roller coasters and stuff that I get, and I would probably go and complain the whole time. I'd
have so much anxiety, until it was done, I'm sure. But you can go.
Yeah.
There are tours.
They're kind of expensive, though.
Not really. According to therealwaverly.com, you can take a 2-hour paranormal tour for $25.
Shut up.
Yeah. You can also take a 2.5-hour historical tour for $30. A 6-hour public investigation is $90.
That's not bad at all.
Or you can do a private overnight investigation for $1,000.
That's not bad at all.
That is on their website. So if you decide you want to go, the address is 4400 Paralee Drive, Louisville, Kentucky, 40272.
Paralee?
Paralee.
Like paranormal?
Paralee. Paralee. Paralee.
Yeah, it's para.
Like paranormal.
Yeah.
Okay,
para.
you did say that. I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
like,
you're
no,
okay.
it's Paralee.
You're right.
It's Paralee, not paranormal. The phone number is 502-690-7880.
How long does it take to get there? Like 6 hours?
It'd probably be, let's see, Louisville. Let's see. About, what is it, 2
I've never
hours
been
south
there.
of Indy? About 2 hours down through there. So I would say anywhere between 4 to 6 hours. I'm not 100% sure. I'd be 2 hours to Indy.
We're going.
2.5 hours. Oh, God, I don't know if I can handle it.
We'll go as a big group.
Okay. Let's
There's power in numbers.
power in numbers.
And everybody only
Power
think
in
about
numbers.
unicorns and rainbows.
And happy fairies and rainbows. And
Not fairies, they'll eat us.
so there you go.
That was a good story.
Thank you.
Good stories.
There's so much information. I'm sure I missed things that are there that.
It's a popular one because there's so much information about it.
Well, and
Would you go? Would you go like willingly? Would you go?
Man, I don't know. I truly have this thing about Waverly. I don't know what it is.
Gives you the heebie-jeebies.
No, I'm so intrigued by it.
Yeah.
You know, I did my first two on, you know, the Hotel Galvez and then the Puck Wedgies, and then I wanted to do something, you know, more dark than, you know, walking through the woods looking for a little fuzzy animal or a fuzzy man, but I wanted to do something more dark, and there was nothing else that I wanted to do at Waverly. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the first thing that came to mind. It's like, that's what I want to do. I want to talk about this. I want to get into it. Reading about it and actually physically going there is two different things.
Yeah.
The building looks amazing. They say when you drive up on this thing, it is absolutely amazing sight to see. It is so big.
It's funny because for some reason, because I know of Waverly, but I don't know like the details. And for some reason, I always thought it was like sanatorium, not sanatorium. And I was thinking it was more of I knew there was TB
Right.
patients there,
Yep.
but I thought it was more for like a mental health hospital.
Right.
Because of just how insane it is. Because a lot of times, like places that were sanatoriums or
Yeah.
whatever, mental health facilities, they have a lot of bad energy and a lot of stuff is stuck there.
That's a lot of evil when you get into stuff like that.
Even like therapist's office and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they have the air is just thick and different because there's so much trauma or anxiety or depression, like all these things there that are, you know,
Right.
accumulating into just making the energy just icky. So that's why I always thought it was a sanatorium and not a sanatorium.
Sanatorium. That's why I had to be really careful when I said it, because I didn't want to say it's. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to mix it up now, so I'm going to shut my mouth. But yeah, I probably would go if we were all going in a group and we just went and did it.
Yeah, we should.
We keep talking about all this shit we're going to go do, and we have
do.
yet to do it. We still need to go up to LaPorte to the.
Yep.
Summer's coming. We're going to squeeze all this shit in.
We need to write a list.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
start
Just put it up on the
knocking 'em
wall. Checking them off, the bucket list. All right. So I want to run through our Golden Mojo Entertainment family real quick. You get a chance, go check out The Call Guys. That's with Gunnar and Colton. They're killing it. They're doing a great job. Their last episode was amazing. And I will be doing a guest spot on episode 10 whenever it comes out, which it might come out before this one does. I'm not 100%, probably will.
There might be a surprise collaboration. Too.
There is some talks between the Call Guys and Murd Nerds, which is Alicia and Ashley's true crime podcast, all about true crime and unsolved murders in the state of Indiana. And they are literally killing it because They are
No
about
pun
to
intended.
hit 10,000 listens. Congratulations.
Thanks. I can't believe it. We're literally like 40 listens away.
Nice.
It's nuts.
I'm super excited.
Super
Hopefully we'll be going live on Facebook to do a giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's going to be way before this comes out.
Yeah, but keep an eye because we might be doing more giveaways in the future.
And we might be doing some more Facebook Lives just for fun.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna dig it. And of course, there is Golden Image Podcast, which is yours truly, Golden J, Chico Noise from the Call Guys, and the Skywalker. He's kind of got that name now. And Ashley gave it to him. It's kind of stuck. So, the Skywalker, where we do all of your favorite things to do in Northern Indiana. We want to get you on an adventure, whether it be a brewery, a restaurant, a Comic-Con. It doesn't matter. We just we get out and experience things and tell you about it so you can go enjoy them too.
Lots of festivals coming up this summer.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm pretty sure Gunner's going to go over the wine festival he just went to. So we're going to get into that. We actually won't start recording again until mid-June, where we'll have Laura Balke in studio with us, and she is so talented.
I watched the music video for
Did you? For Wichita?
Yeah, loved it.
Go back and listen to her vintage show.
Yeah.
She's amazing, and she is so cool. It's interesting because we're a bunch of dudes doing this radio station, and I told him, I said, you got a lady coming in, tone it down. Yeah, she was just as bad as all the rest of us. So yeah, God love her. I love that girl.
It's definitely like a folky vibe.
Yeah.
Just that's totally what I love. Is like folky, real like I don't know, like westerny.
Yeah.
Like the music video was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was gorgeous.
I'll just send you the one she did for one of her other songs where she actually shaved her head in the video.
No shit.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, she was. It was a shout out to one of her family. I think it was family members that had cancer. It was kind of a stand by me type thing. Where
That's what Ashley did for Murd Nerds.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's why she cut her hair.
Oh, nice. I guess I didn't realize that. I thought she just cut it for.
Nope, her and her sister in solidarity. Did
Nice.
That, so
that's amazing.
yeah.
See, she didn't tell me that. She just said, like, my haircut. I'm like, yeah, I do.
I don't think she's telling many people, so here I am.
Oh,
blasting it on the
blasting it out there.
I think maybe if somebody asked, she wouldn't.
She's not. Yeah.
She's not keeping it like a secret,
Right.
but yeah.
She's just not running around.
Look what I did.
Yeah.
Like she's not trying to get attention from it. But
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go. That is the Golden Mojo Entertainment family. We're so happy to be a part of it here at the United States of Paranormal. It's our baby.
It is our baby.
It's pretty much, our baby.
It's been awesome watching it progress.
Oh, my God. It's amazing. And
It's
it's
been
all,
awesome working with Logan and
Yes.
Matt and Boze. They're killing it too. So.
Yes, we are. And we want to thank you, the listeners and the fans out there, the people buying merchandise and going out and spending your time listening. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know it kind of went a little bit longer. There's just a lot of information to get to.
Speaking of merchandise, if you like us here in Indiana, you should go buy a Boosier shirt.
A Boosiers.
The Boosiers.
Yep. It's on our merch store.
Yep. We should have a competition on who can sell Boosiers. Who will win, the Boosiers or Tejas?
That's a flag you're putting up there that it might get interesting. Are you Team Tejas or Team Boosier?
Yep. Let's see.
Got that? All right, my guys and gals, thank you again for hanging out with us, and we'll see you on the other side. To support other Golden Mojo Entertainment productions, check out Golden Image Podcast, The Call Guys, and Murd Nerds wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. To see photos and find new episodes of the United States of Paranormal, follow us on our social media, Twitter at TUSOPPOD, or Instagram at the United States of Paranormal, and Facebook, the United States of Paranormal. If you have a place that you'd like us to look into, or would like to share your spooky story that we can read on the air, please email us at theunitedstatesofparanormal@gmail.com.